Hi everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of Just Good Games. We are going retro this week. Sega! The recent release of the Sega Mega Drive Mini has got me thinking about the first console I ever owned, the Sega Mega Drive, and how many good games that came out on that console. I was only little at the time, but the simplicity and the easy to pick up playability of the many 2D platformer games meant I was able to get into and even complete some of these games. I've played a few of these games since, some on my phone and some which have been released in collections on other consoles. So let's get into it and let's have a look at 6 of my favourite Sega Mega Drive games. There's no better place to start than with Sega's blue, fast, spiky mascot, Sonic the Hedgehog. This is where it all started for me. First console, first game, Green Hill Zone, that level, that music, what an introduction. Probably still one of the best first levels in gaming history. It is iconic. Within that first level, you have all the elements of what the game is going to be about. Speed and platforming. It really did feel like Sonic was the fastest thing alive. You blitz through the first 3 stages, only to be hit by one of the hardest difficulty spikes of all time, in the Marble Zone. Once you've made it through that, the great platforming and speeds just keep on coming. Dr. Robotnik, as he was known back then, was a worthy villain. I just remember wanting to get to the end of each stage, each 3 stages, to see the crazy machine that he was going to turn up in, and then jump into it about 6 or 7 times and destroy it. This was just old school 2D platforming gaming at its best, and it would be criminal to leave this off of this list. Leave it off of any list of the best Mega Drive games. This is also the second game which I ever completed, and the first is coming next on this list. Welcome to your doom! Oh yes, the first game I ever completed was none other than Altered Beast. This was an absolutely awesome game, and what really drew me to it when I was little was the various transformations which your character goes through. Getting to the next level and then seeing what beast you would become was great. You had a werewolf, a thunder were dragon, a were bear, a were tiger, and of course the more powerful Golden Werewolf. Like most of these games, this was classic 2D side-scrolling with a ton of enemies to kill, and at the end of the level a big old boss. And of course you only had a couple of lives to do it. I don't know how I made it through this game, and I didn't even know what it was really about when I was little, but I've looked up the plot now and it is as follows. In ancient Greece, a centurion has died in battle and is resurrected from the dead by Zeus. The centurion is ordered by Zeus to save his daughter Athena, who has been kidnapped by Neph. To become able to withstand the perils, the warrior gets the ability to collect 3 spirit balls from albino wolves on each level, the last of which transforms him into a human-beast hybrid with formidable power. Oh my god, what a synopsis. What a game. Speaking of difficult, I think Alex Kidd was one of the most difficult games I have ever played. I've actually played this game quite recently and it is still as hard as I remember it being. It was fast paced, with enemies coming at you left, right and centre. Those bloody gopher things and the vultures are some of the toughest and most annoying enemies I have ever faced in gaming. But in a good way. The game is chock full of charm, chock full of character, and it has also got some awesome characters in it. The rock, paper, scissors sections are crazy difficult. Looking back on it now, I think it like gave you a split second after your opponent picked to quickly change. But I could be wrong there, because I don't remember that when I was little. I don't think I ever came remotely close to completing this game, but I still love it. Again, like many of the other Sega Mega Drive games, it was just classic platforming at its best, with like punch, kick, jump. You had 3 buttons, that's all you needed in them days, so Alex Kidd had to be on this list. Quackshot is an absolutely banging game. I think it is an underrated gem of the Mega Drive era. It had buckets of charm and is a very good platform/puzzle game. Your main weapon was a plunger gun, and you had different colours of plungers which had different abilities. The game had an element of backtracking to it, like Metroid, when it came to these puzzles, as sometimes you couldn't get to the next area of a level without first unlocking a different colour of plunger, so you would have to go back and see where the items you had collected in that level would then be useful in another level which you had previously done, and then you would get like a new colour plunger and you'd be able to get to the next bit. Outside of the Kingdom Hearts series, this is pretty much the best game Donald Duck has ever been in. Also, this game at times pretty much straight up parodies Indiana Jones, which I love. I'm going to say a spoiler warning now for an over 20-year-old game, but you've been warned. The last level is pretty much the ending of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. You have to do the 3 challenges which Indiana does, and then with a different twist you have to fight the knight at the end. All the characters are there, and this game was just tons of fun and with a lot of great features, so it has to be on the list. The next game involves another Kingdom Hearts character, Mickey Mouse's Castle of Illusion. This game was remastered on PlayStation 3 a few years ago, but you can't beat the original. This game was probably the best game besides Kingdom Hearts again, which starred Mickey Mouse. The platforming, the music, the atmosphere, the charm was absolutely amazing. It had some absolutely standout boss battles. You had a clown, a dragon, and also you have Maleficent at the end. This is absolutely a amazing game, and if I owned a PlayStation 3 right now, I probably actually would try to pick up a copy of it, or maybe I could get it on an emulator. But this game had to be on the list. It is one of my favourite Sega Mega Drive games. And finally, we end where we started. Sonic 2. Sonic 2 pretty much is my favourite game on the Sega Mega Drive. It took everything from Sonic 1 and just made it better. You now had the charge roll by holding down and holding A, which absolutely changed the game back in the day. It was fantastic. This game also had another ridiculous difficulty spike going into the second stage. I don't know what it was with the Sonic games, but it just seemed like, oh, we're going to go quite easy on you on the first stage, and then the second stage is going to be ridiculously difficult. That was the chemical plant zone. So difficult. The drowning music still haunts my dreams. Like, I got to the end of this game and I remember getting to the last level and you have to fight Robot Sonic, and then you have to fight Robotnik in this big Robotnik suit, and you had very little rings to do it. This game was so difficult, but I managed to complete it. It is just all the music is fantastic. I still remember the music. This is probably the best Sega Mega Drive game, so Sonic 2 had to be on this list. So there you have it. That was my look at a brief look at 6 of my favourite Sega Mega Drive games. Let me know what your favourite Sega Mega Drive games are down in the comments, and if you've got the Mega Drive Mini, as I would like to know if that is any good. So, once again, thank you for watching. Subscribe. Thank you to all the subscribers recently. It's been cool. Subscribe, like, comment on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, and once again, you have been watching Just Good Games Sega Mega Drive Special.